we will do that. So at the end of the day, we will have a plan that is informed and improved by the input from the businesses up and down the corridor, and we will present that to the city. So it does matter what the businesses say, and we want to hear it. We want to give you opportunities to bring that forward, and we will continue to do that.
So this plan will be informed and approved by the business up and down.
It will be informed by the input we get from the community up and down the corridor.
Can I just,
Go ahead, Beverly. Or you may want to talk some after I talk to you. I'm going to try to be more specific about the questions they're asking.
Thank you.
So is it okay if I talk now?
Please.
So greetings to everybody who's here, and some of you, the people in San Antonio. I've been at numerous meetings with you, but the folks in the East Lake, not. And so just a couple of prefacing remarks, and then I want to get very specific about the questions here. So this whole BRT project, has been worked on, I think, for 10 years by AC Transit, but it really kind of got advertised to the community starting about 2 years ago, and that outreach reached some merchants and not others. And it did, the people in San Antonio did hear about it and had a number of meetings, both general ones like this, and then some very specific merchant by merchant ones. And in the San Antonio and other parts in East Oakland, sat down and looked at the very detailed maps that shows exactly what is happening on every block, where there's a loading zone, where there's parking being eliminated, where there's a left turn lane. I mean, exactly what's going on. And so AC Transit did make some efforts to meet one-on-one with merchants there who were very specifically impacted, like if there's a business that needs to do loading and unloading and the parking was being eliminated, they talked about what could be done. And in some of those circumstances, the AC Transit engineers were able to suggest modifications of the actual design that could address the situation. In some of the cases, there just wasn't anything anybody could figure out, and there's very likely to be, in those cases, a very serious impact on those businesses. I mean, maybe the business will go out of business, maybe it won't. So I'm going to get to the questions here about the East Lake. But first, the reason the City Council has voted to go forward with various steps of the Bus Rapid Transit project is that it does have the potential to do some very positive things for the International Boulevard corridor. But it also has the potential to do some negative things. And so we were trying to weigh, what's the balance of all this? So, as they said, there's going to be a whole bunch of physical improvements. It's going to look a lot nicer. And it will transport riders faster up and down the corridor, which is, for the riders, a good thing. And the buses along International Boulevard this is the most heavily, it's got the highest ridership of anywhere in the whole AC Transit system. So there's really a lot of people in this whole East Oakland corridor who actually do ride the bus. And so, we wanted to pay attention to them too. But, so that is why the City Council said, okay, we'll go forward with this. The last time the City Council voted on this, we said, yes, we'll go forward, but on these conditions, that AC Transit come up with mitigations for the businesses that are going to be harmed because of loss of parking and other things like that. So we've been waiting for those mitigations. AC Transit has told us, well, give us some time. By the time we get to the 65% completed design, that's when you'll see the goods. Okay, so we're waiting for that. So, anyway, this whole news really didn't get to the East Lake merchants until much more recently. And so, so there's a lot of one-on-one conversations that need to happen. What I am concerned about is that it has taken so long to even get to the point of having a very general meeting like this one, where nothing specific is solved, we just talk about generalities. And in 2 months, the 65% plan is supposed to be in front of the city council. So it's scheduled to come in mid-May, which is just a little over 2 months from now. And so I want to hear from AC Transit very specifically, will you have engineer-type people actually meeting with merchants who are losing parking or losing loading zones, and coming, you know, and trying to analyze what possible changes or mitigations could be done? Because you're going to have to do that, I would think, in the next 3 to 4 weeks in order to actually impact any changes in the 65% design. So my question to you is, will you meet, you know, look at those really detailed plans and do that kind of very detailed legwork, some of which was already done in San Antonio and other places. What I am perplexed by is sort of the generality of this conversation, that you're saying, yes, we'll hear you, your input will inform our stuff. Well, it's a bunch of work to have that happen. I mean, you really need the design people and the traffic engineer type people out here, talking with them, looking at the map and trying to figure that out. So my question is, when is that going to happen?
I'm sorry, also may I say something too? Thank you. Thank you so much. That's exactly what we need to hear from you. Also, is it possible that we bring in our own engineer? Can you fund us for that? Because this is very specific stuff. It needs some expertise. By the way, when you say that you go block by block, merchant by merchant, when we don't know what is going on, this is another level of expertise. Basically you put us in a corner and say, look, this is our thinking, this is what's happening. But we never hear the other side of the story, the negative impact for our businesses. So in a way, it's not fair.
Just because I know we got time issues here, so we
Okay.
got two questions on the table. Councilwoman Kernahan has asked, Council President Kernahan has asked, when are you going to do specific business by business discussions with engineers in hand? Two farmers asked, could you, AC Transit, pay for some consulting engineers so that the community's on an equal footing with you all? So those are the two questions on the table right now.
So, Councilwoman, I can't tell you that we can do that tomorrow, because I would have to talk with the design and engineers to figure out where they are or how we can facilitate making that happen. I will take this back to the team and figure out how we can make more engagement with some businesses along the corridor happen very soon.
Okay, so that is not a satisfactory answer to me, and I know that you're...
I'm sorry?
To me, that does not answer my question. But
Let me try to answer your
because I
question.
know who needs to answer this question.
Well, let
which is
me
this gentleman.
do that then,
All
Councilman
right.
Kernahan. So this is a matter of timing. So the 65% design that we're submitting is not the end of the design effort, for one thing. But what it represents is it's the point where the design of the roadway alignment, the station architecture, the landscaping, all the different elements, communication systems and everything that are going to make the BRT work are at a point where our agency partners go out and do the technical review. But as it affects the community in terms of this issue around business impacts, the timing of this is when we go into construction. So what that means is over the next few weeks, we are working with our agency partners to resolve design issues that are going to have an impact on what the final outcome of the parking impact is going to be along the corridor. We don't know that. We don't know that yet. Okay, for example, we are working with the cities of Oakland and San Leandro to address ADA ramps at the intersections. And depending on the size of the curb bulb, for example, and how the ramp's located, that could possibly impact the amount of parking displacement along the corridor. Well, we're still working out those issues because of functional needs access requirements that we have to include in the design along the corridor. So it would be premature for us to have detailed discussions that you're talking about, say, today. But in a few weeks, we're going to be able to start having those because the design is being solved in kind of a block by block and neighborhood by neighborhood and section by section area. So as those sections of the design get resolved, then it's our intention to come back out to the community through our outreach team that's sitting here with supporting technical staff at that time to have workshops and to go through exactly what we went through with you, Councilmember Kernahan, a while back, where we go block by block and say, this is what's going on in your neighborhood, so let's talk about what potential impacts might be now that you have some more specifics around it. For example, in this corridor here on 12th Street, this is a southbound direction mixed flow for the BRT. So what you can expect to see in the future is not going to be much different than what you see now, except that there's going to be BRT station that's going to replace a local bus stop. But the BRT stations are going to only displace parking to create a curb bulb so that the bus can just stay in the same travel lane that exists out there right now, pull up to the station platform, load and offload passengers, and go to the next one. So there's 3 of those curbside stations just in this segment between Lakeshore and 14th Avenue. There's no lane loss here, as your perception is. That's not true. There's no lane loss in this mixed flow section right here. And the same on International Boulevard in the north.